Hi everyone, I am Kaylee from KW Crochet, and for 2025 I've decided to try and do some kind of longer vlog type videos. Now you have to bear with me because I've not done this kind of thing before, but my two of my favourite things are chatting and crafting, so hopefully it's going to work. I wanted somewhere that I can maybe just talk a little bit more in depth about my kind of crochet, knitting, general stitching projects, and ramble on just a little bit more generally. I'm in my new kind of craft room. It was my work room, but it's been sorted out a little bit. Still needs a bit of tidying. I put the lights up for Christmas, but I thought they looked quite nice, so I've left them up as well. But yeah, let's get going. So I have got some notes over here, so if I keep glancing over there, I apologise. But yeah, I've got a bit of yarn to show you, some finished projects, works in progress, a few other bits I treated myself to over Christmas, and then I wanted to talk a little bit about my hopes for kind of 2025. So, finished projects. Most of my recent finished projects were Christmas presents that I have gifted. So what I've done is picked a few of my favourite ones from kind of last year that I can show you now. My final project for 2024 was these socks. They are my first ever pair of Rhinebeck Roomies, which is a pattern by the Crazy Sock Lady. I made these for myself, and I used yarn from my yarn subscription that I get from Under the Olive Tree. This was October's yarn. It was my first one. I started that in October, so I haven't got many of those. But yeah, I was really pleased with those. Yeah, really nice texture. I don't know if you can see very well. But yeah, I'll definitely make another pair of these. Then I've got another couple of pairs of socks that I made last year. Need to move back a little bit. These are my first kind of proper expensive yarn socks, I would say. Like with hand-dyed yarn. I got this from East Anglian Yarn Festival last year from All Wool That Ends Wool, self-striping yarn. Neons, absolutely love them. I think I started these back in April last year, can't remember when I finished them. And then I had to pair them with pink for the toe, which I had to borrow from my sister. Luckily she had a colour that suited well because I ran out of the striped stuff. But yeah, another pair of socks that I made last year. And then I'll show you one more pair. I also bought this yarn from East Anglian Yarn Festival. This was from Felt Fusion, and it was a sock set. So it's 50 grams of the multicoloured yarn and then 20 of the purple. Now, I did make a mistake on this one. Look at the toes. So I haven't quite got to grips with using a sock set. I need to do more rounds of the toe in the contrast colour, because I did this one first, then found that I ran out of the coloured yarn, so I had to do a bigger purple toe. But yeah, no one's going to know that. So yeah, I really like those. That was my first time using a sock set. Rainbowy yarn. Can't wait to see them again at the Yarn Festival this year, because I am going again this year. So yeah, that was another pair of socks in 2024. And then I also made this. Let me stand up a little bit. My Hexie Cardie. This was using Stylecraft Highland Heathers colours. Absolutely love it. Took an age to weave in all my ends, and in the back I just plaited some of them, but whatever. No one knows other than me. But yeah, so that was definitely one of my favourite makes of last year. And then also I made myself a knitted jumper. Can't get far enough back, can I? This is the Step by Step sweater. Can't remember who the pattern is by. Yeah, Step by Step sweater. Perfect because along with written instructions there are video tutorials for it, which really helped because I am no expert at knitting patterns. It's like a striped jumper, paint box yarns, Aran weight. So yeah, I do wear this a little bit. Needs a wash, I've worn it quite a bit. But yeah, really pleased with that as well. Another one of my favourite makes. I will also try and add a photo of what I think are some of my cutest makes, which was a star blanket. Some of you might have seen it. I posted it as a short and on TikTok. Went a little bit crazy. It's like a star blanket. Hopefully I'll get a picture up here if I figure out what I'm doing. And probably a pair of baby socks is also another favourite of mine, which I'll try again and put a picture here of if I figure out what I'm doing. So let's move on to some works in progress. Now, this sock was made ages ago. I made a pair of kind of Christmas elf socks for my niece, and they were red and white stripes with a green heel and toe. But I wanted to get the size in right, because they obviously had to fit her over Christmas rather than be too big and then they wouldn't be appropriate for the season. So I made a kind of normal sock first in some normal yarn just to check the sizing. Then I made those, and now this sock is a little bit lonely, so I need to make the matching pair to that. That is a Yarnsmith's merino sock yarn. So yeah, I've made a few socks from that yarn and I've been really pleased with it, and it's, I think it's like $6.50 on offer at the minute, so that's a really good price. So yeah, that is one of my works in progress that I need to finish. And then the only one other, what I would call active works in progress I've got a trolley next to me full of actual works in progress, which I'm hoping to get down over the year, but I don't work on those at the moment, so we'll only look at these two. This is a jumper for my husband. This is the step-by-step sweater by, I don't know if it's the Crebe, Rebecca Clow. But yeah, this is for my husband, the stick season sweater. I'm at the bit at the minute where I'm going round and round and round and round and round and round in stockinette. So I'm getting there. Last night I managed to do from the stitch marker upwards. So making decent progress. And this yarn, I really love how this yarn feels. It's really, really soft. And the texture of this top half is really, really nice. Don't know if you've seen that. That is really, really nice texture. The yarn is James C. Brett double knitting with merino in gunmetal grey. Yeah, it's really soft, and I seem to remember it being quite a reasonable price. It was from Wool Warehouse. But yeah, that is my other work in progress at the minute. Not many of them. I do need to cast on another pair of socks with my subscription yarn, but I'm determined to get this finished, because when I tell you what my hopes are for 2025, there is another project that I need to get started on very soon. So, some yarn I've got recently. So all this was in the run up to Christmas. There is quite a bit, but it's all worth looking at because it is all absolutely gorgeous. So first up, I've got some from Wildflower yarn. I'll get it out and then I'll talk because it's a bit noisy. And she had a sale on, so I thought, well, why not treat myself? So we've got, this one is called Unicorn Dreams, and it is a sock yarn. One of those pastel colours. Look at that. These will probably all end up being socks, because I have, my theme for 2024 seems to be socks. I absolutely love making socks, and I don't see why that won't be carried into 2025. I just need to try a few more different patterns. So yeah, that was the first one. These are all from Wildflower yarn, Unicorn Dreams, absolutely gorgeous. And then one that is kind of similar, this one's quite funny, Unicorn Farts. So that's a slightly brighter kind of stripes of colour in there. Maybe I'll make one of my daughters, or both of my daughters, pair of socks with this one, because that is sock yarn again. Another one, absolutely gorgeous. And then the final one is Sparkle Sock, because if I can get it in sparkle, why wouldn't I? Orphan 68. So this was like a one of a kind on its own. Blues with specks of pink. Kind of reminds me of mermaids. So yeah, that may well be another pair of socks. So that is all my Wildflower yarn things. And with it, she sent a tea bag, Yorkshire tea. Why would you want anything else? Yorkshire tea is the best. And then a little stitch marker, if I can find the camera. How cute is that? Little tortoise or turtle. Probably a turtle. But yeah, stitch markers are always handy. Let's put that away. Next up is my Christmas Eve cast on, which I didn't cast on for Christmas Eve. I'll take this out of the bag because the bag's quite noisy. So here we go. This is called First Christmas. It is on Stellina socks. So it's a sparkle sock base from Corner of Craft Chromatic Yarns. Look at those amazing colours. I really can't wait to use this one. I think what I'm going to do is a pair of socks where this is obviously the main colour, and then I'll do kind of the heel in pink and the toe and the cuff in the other one, and then for opposite for the other, so the heel in the blue and then the toe and the cuff in the pink, possibly. But look how sparkly that is. I don't know if you can see, it's kind of blocking the light. But yeah, absolutely cannot wait, and it's so soft. So yeah, and also in this one, I got another tea bag, Earl Grey cream. Just looking at the label. I can't wait to try that. That sounds really nice. And I also got a little postcard for the East Anglian Yarn Festival, which I will be heading to in March. Already got my tickets. Me and my sister have been every single year so far, and I cannot wait for that. That's going to cost me a fortune. I also got a couple from Siobhan's Crafts not long before Christmas. My husband chose these. They were supposed to be a Christmas present, and then he said they're kind of Christmas colours, so have them now. But then I didn't get time to make anything with them before Christmas anyway. So here they are. We've got Christmas pudding, obviously that one, love that. And then snowflake, which is that one. Again, they will probably be socks in, they're sock yarn. So once again, they'll probably be socks. I'd really need to venture into some more patterns. Sorry, I'm getting used to looking at the camera rather than my face on the screen, because I'm not used to it being this way round. But yeah, we're doing our best for my first kind of vlog video. But yeah, they are from Siobhan's Crafts. I need to use them. And then what is next? So I thought I'd show you my subscription yarn. So this I started, I think I said October, November, yeah, October. I started this in October, and that is what I used to make my Rhinebeck Roomies socks. I can't remember what this one was called. One second. Here we go. So I always get an inspiration picture and a little stitch marker, which I think was this one with that month. But it wasn't with it, so I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, I obviously used it at some point. So this was called Autumn Path. And then that was October. November was this one, which is Misty Morning. And I've got a kind of, doesn't want to focus on that. There we go. Misty bead stitch marker. So yeah, gorgeous one. This lady is relatively local to me, so this very much looks like kind of not far from my house, to be honest, because there's a river the other end of where I live. But yeah, another gorgeous one. And then let me put that down somewhere. And then what did we get to? So we did October, November. December was, of course, a Christmassy one. So reds and greens, golds. There we are. That was the inspiration picture. Oh, Christmas tree. And this one came with a little Christmas tree beaded stitch marker. I need to take these off of these to use, but I feel like I'm kind of keeping them nice and all together. And then this one, which came recently, was Frosted Fruits. So this year she's doing a kind of subscribers can send in their photos for her to make yarn from, and use their photos as the inspiration. So this is the first one. This is Frosted Fruits, and the photo was by Fiona McGill, and that is absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. You've got the reds and the oranges and the kind of greens, and then the pale bluey grey colour for the kind of frost. So yeah, I think that might be my favourite so far. They're all gorgeous, but I think that might be my favourite so far. And then I thought I would just show you quickly my two advents. You might have seen them over on TikTok if you follow me there. But sorry about that. So I got a weekly one from Giddy Yarns. This was my original one. Let me hold them up. So this was based on the Grinch. I got them on Sparkle Sock because, again, if you can get it in Sparkle, why wouldn't you? Again, I'm not looking at the camera. I really need to look at the camera. But we had, let's see if I can get them in the right order. I think this was the first one. The Grinch Hated Christmas. Amazing colours. And then we had, If I Can't Find a Reindeer, I'll Make One Instead. Another gorgeous colour. And then He Got Her a Drink and Sent Her to Bed. Gorgeous again. And then The Grinch's Small Heart Grew 3 Times That Day. And I love that they're all so different from each other. That is a massive kind of array of colours there. And that will be 4 pairs of socks. I'm absolutely making socks out of those. I don't know whether I'll stick to like a vanilla sock pattern. My favourite sock pattern seems to be the Vanilla Socks by the Crazy Sock Lady, and I love their simplicity because they kind of show off the amazing colours in these yarns. So yeah, that's probably what they will be. And then let's get those out of the way. My kind of last minute advent that I gave into at the very last minute was the Retro Chic Christmas Cocktail Party Advent by, logo isn't on here, the Curated Yarn Co. So this was a daily one, and let me see if I can pick them all up and hold them to show you. Actually, first I want to show you the bag it came in. How cool is that? I've been waiting the whole of this advent to use this bag as a project bag, and I'm going to use it for the project I'm going to make with these. Of course, I got this in Sparkle, but I got this in DK Sparkle because of the project that I had in mind. Now let's see if I can hold them all to show you. There we go. I had to hit record with my nose because I have no spare hands. But yeah, there it is. I will also try and add a photo over here somewhere of all the colours. Absolutely gorgeous colours. And the plan for this is to make a Daft Days cardigan. And this is the pattern. East Anglian Yarn Festival every year do a crochet and a knit along. So this is the knitting pattern for the knit along this year. It's kind of a striped cardigan, and these will be the stripes, and I was agonising over what colour to pair them with, and I think I'm just going to go basic and pair them with some undyed yarn. I've already got it here, which means I haven't got to, I'm dropping it all, oh no, I'm going to have to put that down. I've already got some here, so it means I haven't got to buy any yarn, and if I don't like it, I haven't bought it specially, and I can try a different colour. But if I can pick these up again, oh dear, I've squashed some, I've dropped one, it's going everywhere. But I just think that's going to work quite well with all the different colours. I don't know if I'm going to need all of the colours yet. I need to look at the pattern in a bit more detail and maybe narrow it down and decide which ones I want to use, because there's a couple that, so if I, like those three with the bare yarn, are not going to stand out very much. They're gorgeous colours, but they just aren't going to stand out against that, and I don't think I need all of the colours looking at the pattern, so I'll probably use the brighter ones for that and then the others for something else. So I'm going to put that back and then come back to you. Right, there we go. I've had a bit of a tidy up. I was getting a bit surrounded by yarn there, so I've tidied that up. Right, that is all the yarn I wanted to show you. Normally I wouldn't have that much to show you, but it's been Christmas, so I've been treating myself a little bit. So yeah, next up, again, I wouldn't normally have this stuff to show you, but I got a voucher over Christmas, so I've treated myself to a few bits which I thought I would show you. So first up is this yarn bag, little one. I've opened it already. There is a little hole in the top, so the idea is you put your yarn cake, yarn ball inside, and then it won't roll around, get dirty and stuff. I thought this would be good on car journeys, because there's always bits of mud or stuff on the floor in the car, and perfect for a pair of socks because it will just hold the whole project. I can even put my kind of socks in there while I'm not working on it. So yeah, I've got that. And then what else did I get? I got this. So the last year I've kind of tried to focus a bit more on knitting rather than crochet, and I wanted to learn some new stitches, so I thought this would be a good way to do it. I haven't actually opened it yet. Let me open it and I'll show you it. There we go. Had some little stickers on it so I couldn't get the top off. Oh, so here it is. Oh, that's a little leaflet. Oh, so that's got some basic stitches in it. Stocking stitch, purl stitch, casting off, increases, decreases. So that's handy. And then we've got the cards. So there are 50, what did it say? 52 cards. Oh, that's quite handy. You could do like one a week. So let's pick some random ones. Open buttonhole. What else have we got? Harris tweed rib. Oh, I like the look of that. That looks pretty cool. What else have we got? One called flags. Lightning. So yeah, I'm actually quite looking forward to trying those because I haven't done a huge amount of playing about with knit stitches. and hopefully the instructions will be nice and clear, and that'll be a nice way to learn some more stuff. So yeah, that was something else that I got. And then I also got this. I bought this for my sister a couple of years ago because she also knits and crochets. I see a lot of people kind of swear by this book to help improve their knitting technique and just understanding knitting a little bit better, so I'm looking forward to having a look through that. Then I also got this. This I will talk about in the next bit as well, because I want to make some of these for 2025. I have this image of like my fireplace having a whole row of gnomes next Christmas. So this is a Gnomes of Grimblewood by Sarah. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Imagined Landscapes is the name on Instagram. And this has just got a few different gnomes and stuff in it. I haven't actually made any kind of 3D knitted kind of stuffies yet, so I'm looking forward to making some of those. Then I also got, don't need that one. So before Christmas, me and my kids started doing some of those colouring books that were everywhere, and I found some crochet knitting ones, so I couldn't resist. So I got the super sassy crochet colouring book and the super sweary knitting colouring book. I'm not going to show you the inside of this one. I don't want to be getting in trouble on YouTube on my first video, my first long video, but I have done one in here. Let me see. My daughter sat doing one of hers while I sat doing this. I picked a really simple one because I just thought, well, there we go. Just some hooks, hands off the hooks. And the idea is that I will colour these and hopefully put them on the wall in my craft room. So yeah, let me pick a couple more to show you. And then we will move on. So we've got like a granny square one, sleep, eat, crochet, repeat. Oh, look at that one. All sorts of different squares on there. I'm not antisocial, just go away while I crochet. Yeah, that's kind of sums me up. So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing some of those. And then, oh, the other thing I was going to say, I can't remember if it was in this one or the other one. I don't know if I can show you. If it's not in this one. There was one that was just loads of balls of yarn. And I thought it would be pretty cool to colour in like one for each project that I finish. Let me see if I can find it. Found it. It was in the other one. It was in the knitting one. But there's no swearing on this page, so yeah, this one is just like balls of yarn. And I thought it'd be pretty cool to kind of colour one in per project that I finish, and somehow maybe write on the yarn label what the project was. But yeah, I thought that was a pretty cool idea. So I'm hoping to do that. And then the final things, like I say, I wouldn't normally have this much to show you, but I've had vouchers to spend. So I started a novel ideas shawl a while ago now, but I was using Knit Pro Symphony needles, and the colour of the yarn was very similar to the colour of the needles, which meant it was just impossible. And last year I treated myself at the Yarn Festival actually to a Knit Pro Mindful Interchangeable Needle Set. So what I've done is bought the needles in the correct size to make that, so that I can use that instead. So yeah, I've got those. And then I've been crocheting for 4 years, right? Coming up to 5 years actually. We're in 2025 now. Started in lockdown like a lot of people. I've got a massive collection of crochet hooks, absolutely massive. But I've never actually bought what you kind of call a branded kind of expensive hook. Mainly because I didn't want to kind of ruin all the other hooks for myself. So what I did was I bought one of each of these. I was eyeing up full sets, but I thought, no, don't be silly, because if you don't like them, you've got a full set of crochet hooks that are a complete waste of money. So I got the Tulip Etimo, is that how you say it, in the red. I got 4mm because I've got loads of DK yarn that I can use up. And then I've got a Clover Amour. I used to call it Armour because for some reason I was putting in imaginary R in there. Again in a 4mm. So I'm going to give those a go and probably ruin all of my other crochet hooks myself. I see mixed reviews for both. It's just personal preference. I did look at the Clover Soft Touch. Are they the ones? They're like a yellowy colour. but they're a bit flatter, and I kind of tend to roll my hooks in my hand, I think, with my kind of technique, and so I didn't think they would be quite as good for me. So I'll give those a go. I'll let you know in another video how I get on with those. That is all of that stuff. So next up, I'm gonna have to look at my notes for this, because next up I wanted to talk about my kind of hopes for 2025. I don't want to call them plans or goals. That screen is better off. Because what will happen then is, if I tell myself that that's what I want to do or that's what I need to do, my brain will go, well, no, I'm not being told what to do. I don't know why it does that, but it does. So if I have a list of things that I need to get done this year, they won't happen. So these are kind of things that are in my mind that I think I would like to do this year. So obviously I want to get my stick season sweater done. I also, just dropped the yarn for that. I also possibly would like to make myself one, because I'm really liking the texture on that, and that yarn, I need to look at the colours that you can get that yarn, because I would definitely use that, depending on how it washes up. I'm sure it'll wash up fine, but it's really soft, so I might make myself one of those. Then the reason I need to get that done relatively quickly is because for the yarn festival, as I said, they have a knit along and a crochet along. The knit along is the Daft Days cardigan, and I want to use the yarn from my advent to make that. Yarn festival is middle of March, so I want to make sure I have enough time to get that done. Again, I'll try and see if I can get a picture up here of the pattern, if I can figure it out. And then the other thing for this year, I've started another yarn subscription, which is from Wildflower yarn, which was the kind of unicorn colours that I showed you before. She is doing a Taylor Swift inspired collection. My youngest daughter is a massive Taylor Swift fan, so I thought it'd be quite nice to do that and make her a blanket using the yarn. I haven't picked a pattern or anything yet. It'll probably be something quite simple. I don't know whether it'll be knitted or crocheted. I'm leaning towards crochet for that, but let me know if there's any good. I want to kind of do a square, maybe 12 squares that I can then join together. I did think granny square, but I've done a granny square blanket like that. I'd quite like to try something different. So if you've got any pattern suggestions for that, then please let me know. Then sock patterns. I talked about my yarn subscription from Under the Olive Tree and the fact that I'd like to do some different sock patterns. I have found one that I would like to use one of those yarns for. Follow Your Path, I think it was called. Follow Your Path by Crazy Sock Lady. I'd like to use for one of those yarns. It's got a bit of texture in there, which will be really nice. I also haven't ever tried a different heel than the kind of heel flap and gusset. I mean, I find it comfortable to wear, so I don't know. Should I try some different heels and toes even? I don't know. What I do now works, so I don't know whether I would be wasting my time. But yeah, then as I mentioned before, novel ideas short. I had to frog that because the colour of the yarn and the needles were virtually the same. It meant I made a couple of mistakes that were just, I was not capable of fixing. Someone more experienced might have been, but I hadn't got that far through it, so I was like, no, I'll order the needles and I will start that again. Again, I'll try and put a picture up here of that. Then, as I mentioned as well already, gnomes. I'd like to do some gnomes. I know Giddy Yarns and the Lonely Knitter are doing a kind of make along for these gnomes. Whether I will do that or not, I don't know, because again, like I say, if my brain tells me I have to do it, it won't allow me to. It just says, no, I don't want to be told what to do. So we'll see. I'll probably just do it without joining in with that. What else have we got? I'd also like to do maybe 2 scrap projects, so 1 knit and 1 crochet. I've got a lot of yarn. This is not anywhere near all of my yarn. I've got a whole basket over here full of DK yarn. I made a dent in that with I did a scrap granny square blanket last year. But yeah, I'd like to do, I can't remember what the knit blanket is called. It's like is it a mitered square where you kind of gradually add squares? I'd quite like to do one of those, but I do need to decide on a crochet scrap project as well, because I do like to kind of have those on the go in the background to pick up and put down. I might work on it for a little while, put it down for a few months. But yeah, I would like to, because I need to get my stash down. And then Blossom and Buds blanket. So last year I joined in with the Blossom and Buds crochet along by Serdar. And I think I've just got 2 more panels. I think it's just 2 more panels, and then the border. It's the tapestry crochet panels, and then the border. But yeah, for whatever reason, I came to a bit of a standstill. The season's kind of changed, and it's more of a kind of spring summer design. So I want to get that finished because I really like that one. And there's not a huge amount left to do on it. I just need to crack on. And then this craft room doesn't look too bad from where I'm sitting. I mean, there's a little bit of a mess. Some of it needs caking up just so it sits quite nicely. But what you can't see needs a really good tidy up. I've got piles of yarn down here that need caking up so that they sit nicely on my shelves. I've got a trolley right next to me full of works in progress. Yeah, it's basically just lots of caking up of yarn, which I need to get around to doing. And then I'd also like to get a chair from here. I'm actually sat on my dining room bench right now. So I'd like to get a chair, but there's not a space in here to do that until I tidy up my mess. But yeah, I need to tidy it in here. I also want to use Ravelry to keep track of my projects. I have put this on my Ravelry. I'm getting to grips with kind of how to use it, but yeah, I'd like to kind of document it a little bit more so that I can like look back on it and see how long it took me and things like that. I would also like to keep track of my yarn in and my yarn out. Now last year until Christmas I actually didn't buy very much yarn at all. I know that's hard to believe. This is kind of built up over the kind of 4.5 years that I have been crocheting / knitting, but I would very much like to keep track of it so that in my head I maybe know that I'm using more than I'm buying. So I think in my phone I'm just going to have a note in there where each time I order some it gets added to it, and each time I use some it will get taken away. That is another thing that the Ravelry projects page will be handy for. So yeah, I think that is all of my... Oh, one more thing. I can't decide, I might join in with the Giddy Yarns bingo board. I haven't done it yet. I'm doing that as if the picture's going to appear where I've done it. Haven't done it yet. Again, I don't know whether that's just going to make my brain go, nope, not interested. But we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I can pick 9 of the things from that list to put on it. But yeah, that is everything that I wanted to talk about today. I feel like I've rambled on for absolutely ages. It's been a little bit chaotic where I'm kind of getting to grips with what I'm doing. I didn't think I'd be stopping and starting the video quite as much as I did. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, let me know, and let me know what you liked, maybe what you would like to see. I'd say what you didn't like, but I don't want to know what you didn't like. That's going to stop me from doing more of them. But yeah, I don't know how often I'm going to try and do these. I would say once a week, but whether I find the time or not, I don't know. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it and have a nice weekend.